Oh, look at that. We're recording. All right. We're with the Pollock family. It's Father's Day 2020. First, Jeff, happy Father's Day, because you're one of the best dads I know and one of the coolest dads I know.
It's not an easy thing to do.
No. But your kids still like you. I still like you. Your wife still speaks to you, so you're doing
now
something
you're just assuming things.
Get on.
Well, we're assuming things because we're on video, but we'll figure that later. And so I had 3 questions, which were for fun, and you can all answer them or answer them at your liking. And the first question is, what is your favorite memory of Leo, Grandpa, him? Jackie and Jeff, you're in the upper left corner. You have to go first.
All righty. Mine was ziplining with him in Mexico when he was like 86 years old or 83 years old. I mean, it was just amazing. He's in such good shape.
He ziplined?
The coolest grandpa.
God, yeah.
I did not know that.
Hundreds of feet in the air. He's just booming and down.
The 86-year-old and the 17-year-old.
Chardonnay at the bottom?
Oh yeah, he did fine. And he did fine. It was hysterical.
No, but was there a big fat Chardonnay waiting for him at the bottom?
Oh no, well,
But when we got back,
it was at the Moon Palace. Yeah.
Moon Palace was waiting for him. Perfect. That's brilliant. Jackie, is that yours or do you have a different one?
no, I think my favorite memories are when the kids were, I mean, I have a ton of them, but especially when the kids were little and he would let them teach them to drive the boat. Oh, was that yours? Sorry,
That was mine.
No, I have a backup. I have a backup.
Well, then we have consensus here.
We have consensus. So
Y'all should know I was never allowed to touch the boat, so y'all must be privileged. Just saying.
it's a grandparent thing. We allow
I wasn't
our
allowed to
grandkids to
touch
do
it.
things we don't allow our kids to do. Between
right.
that and him playing the piano. I have to
Those
say.
are good memories. All right, Alex, you're up.
I was going to say when we were little and used to be able to go out on the boat all the time and he would let us drive it. But my backup was all of the times in Haiti when he somehow knew that the excursion we were going on was not one that he wanted to be on. And every single time he made the right choice. So one time we got stranded on the side of the road. And then this other time we got, the massive storm that came and we were all in the back of the pickup truck. And both times we got back and he was just happy as could be.
He's like, where have you been? We're like, well, you picked the right time not to come.
Alex, I didn't know you had excursions in Haiti.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Charlie, you're up.
All right, mine was also going to be the boat and having him tap our shoulders to tell us how far to turn the wheel. But obviously that was already taken, so I didn't have a backup. But one memory that just sparked into my mind was one time on their back deck in their house outside Baltimore, I got a splinter in my finger. And I remember Grandpa Leo was like, just come here, we're going to rip it out. We're going to rip it out. And I was freaking out the whole time. And then he finally just took my hand and ripped it out. And I was like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
But did he rip out the finger or the splinter?
The splinter.
Because you're not always sure sometimes when he comes that way. Just saying. But he's good at all that. All right, so my second question, which is my favorite, and I think I'm the only one that gets it. If he had a superpower, what would it be?
I got mine.
Go, Charlie.
Go, Charlie.
All right. It's not necessarily his superpower, but his superhero alter ego. I was going to make him Deadpool because he loves to talk, making cure himself of cancer.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Oh, I have a ton of superpowers. All right. One of them being getting splinters out.
Removing splinters.
That is a superpower. The other one is raising money for Haiti. That is a superpower.
That is a superpower.
Being
able to extract money from other people.
Yes.
Like a splinter.
Yes. And then we also had, he makes a mean omelet and a really good salad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like, I'm always like, I want a
They're the
salad.
best.
And then I'm like, that salad wasn't very good. I need to
Salads never taste as good when you make them, but his are really good and really good omelets.
That's true. All right, Alex, it's on you.
Oh, following up after that, superpower.
Superpower can be anything you want it to be. It doesn't have to be a superpower. Just be something you like.
I would say he's the best storyteller I know.
That is a brilliant superpower because God knows we could use a lot of that right now. I would love a decent story, fiction, happy face right now. Anyway, that would be cool. You guys are good at this. All right. So Michael mocked me for this question, but I thought it was hilarious because I'm a little bent. If Leo were a dessert, what would he be?
I got mine.
Mom and Dad.
I don't have one for this.
All right, you guys want to go first? Or you don't
You
have
got it, Mom.
I would make him chocolate peanut butter pie.
And why?
Well, because we know he loves his peanut butter. But it's hearty, it's sweet, and it's a little nutty.
That's perfect. That's actually good. Look, you guys, thank you for doing this. Anybody? Charlie? Alex, you got any kind of
mine
dessert
would be
blowing out? Yeah.
for the dessert. My mind flashed to when we all went to get ice cream in New Hampshire and we told him that he couldn't order a large because it was bigger than anything anyone could ever eat, and he ordered it anyway, and it's like 8 scoops of ice cream on an ice cream cone. So that would be him.
Sorry, Grandpa Leo, did you want one bigger than your head?
He got it, and he ate the whole thing.
1, 7, 3, 2, 6, 5, 7, 4.
Another phone call.
That man can put away some ice cream. He's a professional. He really is. Charlie, you got anything you want to throw in?
I don't know if I can top the ice cream one, but I was going to say he was creme brulee because he, from a distance, seems hard on the outside. But once you break in, he's nice and soft and sweet.
Ah, that's a great answer. And I like creme brulee. I know. Charlie gets points.
And he's expensive. He has expensive taste.
He does. Well, he also likes his ice cream. Let's just be honest.
That's true.
Guys, thank you so much. I know Jeff's on the call.
Thank you.
Happy Father's Day, Jeff. This is a Father's Day video. You're the best dad we know. You guys kind of like him, right? He's
Yeah.
kind of
Keep
cool.
him around.
He's all right.
Guys, thanks for doing this. I love y'all. Happy Father's Day. Everybody stay well.
All
And
right.
I can't wait till we can do this in person. It'd be so much more fun.
Yay.
Love you too. Bye.
Love you.
Okay, bye.
And we're recording. Yay. So, welcome to Father's Day 2020. And we cannot start this without acknowledging our fathers. So, Robert, happy Father's Day. Happy Grandfather's Day. Happy super awesome dude day. And we appreciate you. And we're so lucky we've got like some of the best dads in the world. And this is your day as much as it is everybody else's. So round of applause for Uncle Bob, for Dad. So that's where it gets weird is I have to keep changing pronouns. So if I say the wrong thing, forgive me. So the first question was, what is your favorite, or do you have a memorable moment with Leo or Grandpa Leo? And Julia, you're in the upper left-hand corner on my screen, so you get to go first.
Cool. So my favorite memory is tubing on the boat when they lived in Baltimore, / when Grandpa Leo taught me how to fish, and he brought out the worms and he started to stab it with the hook, and I was like, cool, I don't want to fish ever again. Not for me. That is my favorite memory.
I love that. All right, Colton.
That's a good one, Julia.
That is a good one. Do you have one?
For me, it was the, and you'll have to help with the name of the place. What's that crazy diner down in Emerald Isle that we all went to and sat in like 2 tiny little tables, and the lady took our picture. She's a real hon do you remember?
Yeah.
Crazy
Yeah.
restaurant
After we went,
he was in 7th heaven to have us all in this little tiny table and a booth right next
and
to
the whole restaurant was like covered in like souvenirs or knickknacks or something.
That
And
could be any place here.
He knew everybody's name, and they knew him.
Oh, yeah.
And it was down by the water. We had to drive. We went almost to the end of Emerald Isle there.
And do they have like a Elvis statue in front.
Oh, that was Yana's.
That's it.
Yana's, yes. And all this memorabilia and big hair and Elvis and James Dean, and it was it's like a little breakfast diner place.
But it was great
Could
because
not be.
and
I can't even imagine that they're open now.
Oh.
You can't. There's no way. There's no. They are. But I'm just saying. There's no way COVID wise you could socially distance in there. But yes, that's Yana's. They have the.
That reminds me of Leo.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. That is a good one. I'm sure he ordered fritters.
Oh, sure.
I haven't thought about that.
Oh, all right. Then Robert's
I
next.
didn't do my homework.
Go ahead, come on.
He doesn't
No,
remember
it's
it. You have to
not.
think now.
Oh, you have to do yours.
And here's the thing, it doesn't have to be a favorite memory. It can be something you like. And if you don't have one, you can pass. It's no pressure.
Okay, my memory of Leo is actually showing up to when their whole house flooded on the river. And it was like, okay, we need to clean out the bottom of this house. It's like, okay, I got this.
You remember there were like pilings?
The whole boat is on the side of the house.
Yeah.
Like,
not even his house. Like 6 houses down.
Yeah.
you're up.
Probably like one of the 10 football stories he's told me. Just any of those, any of the Notre Dame like stories that take like 2.5 hours, or like those are like the ones I really remember.
So our second question is, if Leo were a superhero or had a superpower, a super gift, what would it be?
I forgot what I was going to say.
Gift of gab.
Good job.
Man can talk and talk and talk. So cool.
You all should know there's going to be a theme when you watch this.
Mine was confidence,
Confidence. I like that.
because he's just utterly Leo and he doesn't pretend to be anything else. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to try and do that in my life. But
Good. That's a great answer. Kimmy?
My superhero for him is he is the I don't even know how you would put it. He can get a bargain. Man can bargain and knows when to get a deal.
He's our very own Monty.
He is. He can make a deal. That's it. Let's make a deal. Superhero.
superpower.
What's his superhero? What's his superpower? Sorry.
Superpower. I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess. Knowledge.
That's a good one.
Knowledge. He knows a lot.
I think that comes from such a long life of so many different chapters. I mean,
That's right. That's right.
so many chapters, you know, and it's not just age. It's just he's not afraid to do different.
The one thing that's important is that he knows a lot and he has strong opinions because of the experiences he has, but he doesn't always spread his opinions when he doesn't want to. Like he's like he can be very quiet about what he's thinking about a situation, even though he knows it from the bottom up.
Like he doesn't force his opinion on you. He lets you come.
Yeah,
in.
he has all this knowledge and all these opinions, but he kind of like he won't like force it upon you. He's more just like he has it, and if you want to know about it, then he'll let you know. But like it's not like you walk into his home and it's like just, you know what I mean? It's like
I do.
like he waits for you to like open up and then he'll talk to you forever, but like he's not gonna press you just because you're like around him.
So the last question is just goofy and silly, and that's if Leo/Grandpa were a dessert, what would he be and why?
Nutty Buddy.
That's a good one.
Good one. I love Nutty Buddies. All right, Julia, what do you think?
Oh. I said apple pie with ice cream because he's an American classic.
Oh,
God, we all hate you.
this girl did her homework.
I
She did, and she worked it. All right, Colton, you're in trouble. Your sister's taking the floor.
I guess like anything that's turned into fritters.
Yeah.
It's just all
He
fritters.
does like his critters, and that's a big dish at Yana's. They have peach fritters and
Full circle.
Mine was the brownie sundae because there's a lot of layers and it's just big and it's in there and you got to share.
That's awesome.
I like that one.
You guys are gonna laugh really hard when you see all this put together
I bet.
God.
and see the commonality.
Uh-huh.
That it is Father's Day 2020. Happy Father's Day, Leo, Grandpa, Dad,
Good seeing
Mom,
you.
Marianne.
Happy Father's Day.
Love you, and we can't wait till we can do this all in person again, in a normal way without, hand sanitizer and Lysol.
Exactly. All right.
Or a mask, however that goes. All right, guys, I love you. I'll see you all soon. Thank you.
Bye.
We're recording. All right, it is Father's Day 2020, and we are here to wish Grandpa Leo a happy Father's Day. But I will not be remorse. Father's Day is for all of the men and all of the fathers and all of the people that have taken good care of us and been fathers to us. And I know that Papa's not here, but we want to wish happy Father's Day to John as well. So, do you guys have a favorite memory or a happy memory or something that reminds you of Grandpa or a favorite memory of Grandpa?
Did you want to go first?
Me? Okay. My biggest, I guess the easiest one that came to mind, the first one that came to mind was going out on the boat with him. I have a really fond, deep attachment to the water, to the beach, to the lake, rivers, and I think a lot of that does stem from the time he would spend with us at the house in Middle River. Digging up clams, going, swimming off the dock, taking the boat out just to do circles and not really go anywhere. I think those are probably the sharpest and the fondest memories I have of our time with him. And definitely the ones that have had the broadest impact across my own personal interests and things like that. So those
That's
are mine.
a good answer. I can't wait till everybody sees this video. I'm so excited.
I mean,
And I'd like to point out that the grandchildren got to spend a lot of time on the boat. Nada.
Zero.
So,
Nada.
okay, sometimes we had to nag because he didn't always want to, and we had to
This
stand
is
there.
how many times I was invited on the boat. 0. Anyway, just saying.
Yeah, mine was kind of similar too. I was going to say that I always remembered the times where we would go out to the inner harbor and he would teach us how to steer the boat. You made us feel really cool at that age.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I could drive anything, but I probably wasn't doing much, just turning the steering wheel just a little bit. But it was a cool experience that I feel like I never would have been able to get. And then on top of it too, my second mini experience was him actually teaching me how to fish and me epically failing because I thought I had gotten something and it turned out I had just gotten the boat right next to it. It would just, the hooked itself and I thought I had gotten a big one, but it was the boat. And
I hooked a battery once.
oh, there
Like
you go.
somebody had dumped it in the water. Yeah. And not that I want you guys to feel badly, but I never went to the inner harbor in the boat either. Just saying.
Wow, we got all of the special
Yeah.
treatment.
Yeah.
Special treatment.
Special.
More.
Oh,
tiny
go
one.
for it.
Sorry, that's only
No, you don't need
relevant.
to be sorry. You can have
It's
3 if you
relevant.
want.
It's
I need my
relevant,
water.
especially because I live right nearby. But Christmas time, going to Hamden.
Yes.
Every single time I pass Cafe Hun, which is very often, I have like flashbacks.
Didn't you guys go to lunch there, like
All
at
the
Christmas
time.
time?
It was the
All the
thing we
time.
did. Yeah, we would go to Cafe Hun, even if it wasn't really worth it. We would go, and then we'd wander around, and then we'd
And you
see
did
some
the
of the lights,
trees too, didn't you?
and we would do the trees.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Wow.
Yeah. So
So what was
every-
that, Kenilworth?
Kenilworth.
Mhm.
Yep.
We had
So
the
you
train
would
garden.
do that and then go eat, right?
Yep. We
Yep.
would do the train
I
garden.
also was not invited to that. But
But yeah, we would do the train garden and then go down to Hamden, the Cafe Hun. And it's funny because I still haven't taken Nico there because I keep telling myself that it has to be like at Christmas because that was the only time we went, which is weird. But that's one of the other memories I have.
But it's an expectation, and you know what? Places can be different things at different times. It doesn't take away from one for the other. But
Yeah.
I know what you mean. It's like you have a certain
There's a standard.
expectation. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's
That is a good one. That's a really good
That was
one.
a really good one. Wow.
The second question was if Grandpa had a superpower or something that you might equate to a superpower. Mine wasn't a superpower. Mine was just something that resonated with me.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first this time. We'll keep it balanced.
For me, still not technically a superpower, but I feel like Grandpa has the ability to just bring, I feel like the attraction is a big word because he can just bring anyone around to listen to his stories, to be able to bring people together to help a cause or for a good cause, especially with everything he has done in Haiti. I think that is just more than so many people could ever do, is to be able to bring that kind of group together is really special.
To impact things in a positive way.
Exactly. Yep.
And to gather people. He's a good gatherer for sure.
Exactly.
For sure. That's a good one. That's a very good one. All right. You're in.
I think mine is in a similar vein, and it's his ability to turn anything into a story. It could be a really simple topic. It could be a really mundane memory. It could be, the everyday just routine of life. And somehow he managed to always fill it with a lot of color and a lot of, vitality in order for it to really become a full-fledged story. Every cookout, barbecue, Christmas, birthday party, whatever it was, there was always a point in which he'd be able to, even if it was the same story you had already heard, he was telling it again, and he brought so much life to it that you didn't really register that you'd already been told the story. So I think his storytelling ability is really one of the things the skills or talents that I equate most with him, because it was always
and that
present.
is a gift. And that is a gift to be able to tell a story, not just recite things, but to be able to engage people in what you're talking about, have them want to listen and wait for the next word. He is I agree with you. He is an excellent storyteller. And I think that kind of piggybacks to what Angela was saying about his ability to gather people.
Yeah.
But not just to gather them, but to keep them there, because they're being fed, they're feeding, they're hearing, they're enjoying, they're becoming a part of something through his ability to tell a story. And yeah, I think that's very intuitive. And I think that's accurate. There are certain stories, you're not as old as I am, but there are certain stories that I've probably heard 50 times. But the way he tells them, and with the insight and the motivation and the heart at that time, what's triggered that story always makes it interesting and almost like the first time. Last question, and I apologize for the squeaking. Callaghan got a new toy and she's trying to kill it. I'll introduce you to her in a minute. So the last question was, if Grandpa were a dessert, what would he be and why?
Mine kind of ties in with the last question. Actually, both questions, technically, but it's not a dessert. I said he was a 7-layer dip for multiple reasons. Being so that, especially with your stories, you start one story, you kind of start to get involved in the story, you get to that second layer and you're even more involved, and the layers keep going and going, and you just are entranced with the story. And then on top of it, people love dip, and people are always going to congregate around the dip. So it's kind of that gathering aspect.
That's
that
an excellent
I brought
answer.
it all together, you know?
That's an excellent answer. And I cannot wait till everyone watches this because we're all going to be like, "Ah!" So that's perfect. That's a great analogy. All right, that's hard
Your
to follow.
turn.
I'm just going to say.
I know. Sorry, that
It
was
is.
my
saying,
best
No.
one.
Just saying,
That's
You
fine.
get the point for that
were
one.
way in the lead, but he brought out his 7-layer dip.
Hey.
Nah, he gets the point for that one. Mine's not technically a dessert, but you have it with dessert, typically speaking. And that would probably be an Irish coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that
Excellent.
because he's a Callaghan. I'm saying that because it's both traditional and incredibly warming all the same. It's very much an old standby. You can always rely upon it. Even if people don't like whiskey, they end up liking it. It's a very communal, warming, standby kind of item. And I think Grandpa Leo has always been a very steadfast kind of person. Especially growing up, you know, he was kind of always Grandpa Leo. There wasn't a lot of, I didn't have to expect change or difference. It was just, you showed up and he was there and he had the same way of greeting you. He had new stories, but he always, you know, the same hugs, the same atmosphere, things like that. So I'd have to say, I'd have to say probably the Irish coffee, because it's, you know, you have it at every Christmas, you have it at New Year's, you have it after Thanksgiving.
And you know how he loves his Irish coffee.
Yes, and he loves them.
Yeah, those are great answers. So we have, is there anything else you guys want to add for Father's Day?
Yeah, I mean, the more I keep thinking of it, it's like there's more memories just flooding in, you know? And honestly, I didn't even think about all the times that he would take me to Little Italy for birthday dinners. And we would go and I would get pasta, you know, my normal
I
buttered,
miss
my
Little
buttered
Italy.
noodles. But it was great. The presentation was different at every restaurant, but it was nice because he knew all the history about the area and all the different restaurants and how long they've been there.
And he didn't care that you just wanted buttered noodles.
No, and bread, you know? And bread.
Okay, well, let's just be honest. If we could live on that and not die or have a stroke, we would all do it. So.
Right, exactly. But no, I mean, that's just even, I don't know. There's a lot of memories. A lot of good
Do
memories.
you know Little Italy was started when before I was able to go out to dinner, but we were allowed to pick a place on our birthday because we didn't go out a lot, and Little Italy became the place, and we would go to Sabatino's and Nicola's and the place that begins with a V, and
Oh, I know which one.
Vacaro's.
yeah, and there's a couple, but they've also changed over the years, and I can't remember, but for me, that it was always Sabatino's. It was always Sabatino's with the 40 pounds of bread on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just awesome. And
I remember the one time we went to that one restaurant and we had the whole basement tunnel.
Oh, for Michael's birthday.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Wasn't that
the
great?
wine, the
wine cellar.
olives
Yep,
and the
and I got
olive
to sing
oil.
Italian for the waiter.
Yeah.
They all
He
ordered.
thought it was
I don't
great.
remember. Was it called the Black Olive?
Maybe, I don't know.
Is
No,
that-
it started with an A, I think. It
I
started with
wasn't
an A.
very observant of names since I wasn't the one.
It had like
staying at the
cobblestone
restaurant.
floors.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll look it up because
And,
it
like,
had
the
two.
brick, the walls were stone all
It
around.
had two wine
that
cellars
place
for
was
parties.
Cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah, it had the main dining room and then the two wine cellars with the price fixed
I
menus.
kind of felt like we were in the tomb.
a little bit.
The crypt.
It was little Edgar Allan Poe-esque.
Grandpa, Dad, happy Father's Day.
Happy
Love
Father's
you.
Happy Father's Day.
And here we go.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
guys. Love you.
Love you.
Love you too.
So happy Father's Day, everybody. This is our Father's Day 2020 tribute to Leo. Before we get started, Uncle Michael and Uncle Patrick, happy Father's Day. Father's Day is for uncles and fun uncles. In our case, our funkles. So happy Father's Day to you guys and all the things that you do for us and others in a father-like manner. So the first question I wanted to ask you guys, this is a little tribute, vignette for Leo, Dad, Grandpa. So what is one of your fondest memories or favorite memories of Leo? And Ian, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I think one of the funnest moments that we had was when him and I, the first time we went shooting, it was really fun. We had a good time on the range, and it was a good experience for him and I bonding, and it was really enjoyable. I learned a lot, and honestly, it showed a lot of discipline, and it added a lot of discipline, and I think that it's one of the key factors in me going shooting with him and me doing things with him, that make me some of the part of the young man I am today. Self-discipline, respect, the things that he taught me on the range.
Okay.
Things that
We're going to hold you to that. All right, Patrick, what's one of your favorite memories, if you have one?
Oh, I don't know that I have necessarily one. One of the things I've always loved is going out to Notre Dame and going for the football games. And probably the coolest one was the big reunion where we were all there. And, I just remember him introducing me as well as, Michael and the others as his sons. And that was something, because I showed up sort of on the doorstep 26 and a half years ago. And
in a basket.
Named Moses.
But it's one of those things that, there's that seeing him in his element there.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the really cool things. Seeing
his name on the wall in the outside the gym. I think that's where it is. I remember, I was only there one time, but I remember that really got my attention. Was there's my dad's name up on the wall,
right,
which was cool.
Right, but you could just see, you see how much that space and those activities meant to him, and also how much, the thing I've always loved about Leo is his love and devotion to his family and to you guys and to the add-ons who have come along over all these years. I think that's really, to me, what makes Leo Leo.
Cool. That's a good answer. I'd like someone to say that about me one day. All right, Mikey, you're up.
It was really great when I saw Maureen's name on outside the gym at Notre Dame. I don't think that'll sound so good, Reen.
My name? No, you know what I mean. Not mine. No.
I want somebody to say that about me one day.
Well, I meant being caring for my family, but.
Oh, I see.
If my name's on the wall there, I'll have some explaining to do.
That's right. So as you know, I don't do favorites because, I just don't understand how people have favorites. I've never had favorites. I have unfavorites. I really don't like green peppers on my pizza. It's totally an unfavorite kind of thing. But memories of Dad. Well, there's only about 6 decades of them. So let me begin.
We're on a timeline. I have the free version of Zoom.
I know Christmas is coming. So I would say remotely. This is remote memory, and it's almost apocryphal memory. There was a time I would have remembered this. Was when Dad would bounce us on his legs. So he would.
Diddly, 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 dee.
Yeah, so I know I remembered it at some point. I think I remember it now. I know I remember it from the stories we've told about it, and that remote sort of memory. So that would be something. We bought him that statue years ago when I was working at that art gallery that he has. So I would say, that sort of is like one bracket of memory. I think the other bracket of memory is when Dad was unwell a few years ago and in the ICU and sort of completely helpless and needing sort of everybody's both immediate and remote support. So two very kind of different brackets. They're not favorite memories, but they bracket sort of 87 years of a life that's had so much in between, including piano and football and everything else. So those would be sort of my two brackets. I will say this, when I was in grade school and we were at St. Luke's, Dad had a slide projector with slides, and he let me take it to school to show the slides of him and his experiences in the Marines and traversing the ocean and going and being in Japan. And I took it to school as part of, I don't know, we were supposed to bring something in and do like show and telly kind of thing. And this was sort of like, in the days before you let kids touch anything. And he let me take that to school to show those slides. So it was pretty daring, given the fact that I lose everything. So that stands out as sort of a childhood moment in those days. Anyway, so that's all I got.
Well, I'm gonna, since I hadn't really thought about this, but it's interesting. I don't have favorites, but I have moments I think that were impressive or impressed upon me. And it's funny that you said the bouncing on the knee, because I recall the bouncing on the ankle, which was the deedly 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 dee.
Right. That's what I said.
Right. That was also a memory for me. And I also remember standing on the threshold in Ohio and jumping down into his arms. I think we stopped doing it shortly after that because I think Kathy threw him through the wall at one point. But those were two for me. And then when I was 14, I had the opportunity to take a trip with Dad when he was going to see some of his hospitals. And we went to West Virginia and Culpeper, and we had a 4 or 5 day trip. And it was my first kind of adult thing. I was allowed to stay in the motel during the day by myself and go to the pool. And I got to order lunch at the restaurant, which made me feel very, very, very fancy. But that was a really fun time for me to just be with Dad and me and not tell Mom that we had soda and Mr. Salty pretzels for dinner, because that would have been a no-no. But
that's all you had?
Well, I ate lunch at like 4 o'clock, and so he came home and he's like, "We want to go to dinner." I'm like, "But Daddy, I just ate." So he had picked up, I think, a 6-pack of beer and some soda and some pretzels. He was like, "Okay, I guess this is dinner." And we watched, TV, and it was nice. It was a good time. So the second, which was if Dad were a superhero or had a superpower, what do you think that might be? Or yes, Michael.
Mushrooms. His superpower is mushrooms. Dried mushrooms, stuffed mushrooms, sauteed mushrooms, mushrooms raw,
mushrooms hanging,
mushrooms all over the kitchen, mushrooms that we had to sew together on drying strains.
That's right. I forgot about that.
The power of the mushroom reigned supreme for a number of years.
That's right.
And Dad was King Mushroom.
King Mushroom of the Mushroom Farm.
Yes.
All right, Ian.
What was the question?
The question is, if Grandpa had a superpower, what do you think it might be?
Probably, so like Doctor Strange, probably like not like his power, but like the power, like you can like kind of like tell the future, but like tell people like what to do and what not to do, and give people like
good advice.
Yeah, like good advice. And
how about just good advice, not like just good advice?
You could give them good advice and whether like to choose this path or that path, like stuff like that.
Does Grandpa give you good advice?
Yeah, like giving people, like being able to see the future and giving good advice and giving like saying whether to do this or whether not to do this.
Okay. That's a pretty superpower. Patrick, I'm going to give you a 2 more seconds. So for me, I would say Grandpa's superpower, Dad's superpower is he gives the best hugs. He's just the best hugger. And on a joyful day or a sorrowful day or a frustrating day or whatever, for me, a hug from Dad just kind of puts it all together and puts me back together and puts everything in place, and I get to move forward. So for me, his superpower would be he's the best hugger.
You know, I'm still somewhat stumped.
Okay. Well, it's
I
okay.
got
We can
another
move.
one. I got one for Patrick.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Piano.
Yeah.
Mushrooms and piano. You know, for somebody that took lessons through high school and can play the way he plays now and hasn't had a lesson in, let's say, 70 years, is pretty amazing. So he's got a lot of raw piano talent, which, of course, that poor nun knew when he turned down the scholarship to Juilliard, but that's a whole different story. But I'd say piano power.
Awesome. That's a good one. All right. So this last one was just sort of silly. And Patrick, we're going to start with you. Okay. So if Dad were a dessert, what would he be and why?
He would be apple pie.
Okay.
He would be apple pie because of the all-American nature of it. It would be because it is something so foundational and warm and comforting, and that, you know, so I was really, I gave this some thought, and Michael can tell you later, I actually had a sort of a joke answer too, but the more I thought about it, realized that the apple pie, you know, Leo, out of very few people that I know, sort of has that foundational bearing, that ramrod bearing. I think of the American flag when I think of Leo, and that sense of country, having served in the military, you know, the love and support of his family. So that is really what I think of with Leo. And so I'm going for the all-American apple pie with Cool Whip on top.
Awesome. I like that. All right, Ian, what do you think?
I was thinking about this one and I came between 2 answers. But I think I'm going to choose ice cream because there's so many different flavors. Same thing. There's like so many different personalities and like so many different like feelings and personalities, and one moment he'll be all happy and like the next moment he'll be serious, and I don't really know, to be honest. I think I'm going to go with the ice cream one, to be honest, because you never know. You never really know, like, what.
And Grandpa has a little bit of an affinity for ice cream, right? You know what affinity means? It means he's kind of partial to it.
That one was the hardest one. I don't really know about that one.
What about you, Uncle Michael?
I think it's a creepy question.
All right. Do you have an answer for it?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, Ian, my answer was also ice cream. Is Patrick got to go? Okay. Mine was also ice cream, but I made it a little bit, I made him a banana split because there's 3 scoops of ice cream. There's a banana, and Grandpa is probably one of the silliest people, can be one of the silliest people I know. There's lots of whipped cream. There's nuts if you want them. There's cherries if you want them. You can put syrup. It can be a concoction of any kind, but it is always unique and tasty and more ice cream and more filling than you can probably typically eat. And that just made me think of Grandpa because, you know, he likes his ice cream.
Can I do a non-dessert food?
So
you can do anything you want.
Go ahead, Michael.
Crab cake. Somewhat lumpy.
Not anymore.
Occasionally pointed.
Well, for the food,
But
I was gonna say
always flavorful.
for the food, I was gonna say onion because he has layers.
Yeah.
Onion.
Yeah. Very good.
And he
and
likes
actually,
onions too.
When in the thinking, I was on the crab thing too. I was trying to figure out a crab dessert, and I couldn't, like a crab flan or a crab souffle. But one of my favorite memories is also just sitting with Leo and whoever else is around at a table full of crab. It is, when he has a beer and a table full of crab, he is in his element.
Yeah.
And to watch him and Michael and you sit there for hours telling stories, just continuing to crack the crab, occasionally giving me a few morsels because I struggle so. But that's really one of the things I've always loved too. So that I very much associate the crab with Leo too.
And corn. So
And
like
corn. Yeah, you can't do one without the other.
Maybe be a crab and corn souffle dessert.
Yeah, let's just keep it as the food because we add the word dessert and it just becomes nasty.
Yeah.
Well, Dad, happy Father's Day. We all love you. We hope you have a fantastic day. And thank you for giving us some time to spend it with you, Dad.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Leo.
And we're recording. Hey, let me fix this. Hey, Dad, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Leo.
We've had a busy weekend, and I've been editing this video since about 5 o'clock this morning. So, hoping to get it to you in time. Let's just say that my editing skills aren't so great, but you'll see when you look at the video, there was some discussion and conversation and laughter in your honor. And I wanted to give Mike a chance because he was power washing all weekend to wish you a happy Father's Day. And as I did with everyone else in the video, I want to wish you a happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
To all of our dads. We've got great dads and great uncles and great father figures. And I don't want to leave anybody out. So thank you for everything you do for me and for the boys.
Thank you.
Happy Father's Day. There's a card. You'll get it later when the Stinky Boys are here in about an hour and a half. But anyway, we talked a little bit about my dad, happy memories we have, things we like about him. The questions I asked people were, what was your fondest memory? If he had a superpower, what would it be? And if he was a dessert, what it would be? And I don't expect you to answer any of those questions unless you are feeling creative, but I want to give you a chance to voice your opinion.
Well, I don't have that lifetime experience. I have my own experiences, like when Leo came down to get stuff out of the house before it was sold and closed. And I enjoyed the few hours we had and talks and discussions. I enjoyed when we visited up in Maryland, right? No, Delaware.
We went through Maryland. I know it was very confusing to you. It's confusing on the map.
It was very enjoyable. You're a wonderful person. You do wonderful things for your daughter here. I'm trying. She's very high maintenance, though.
That's so not true. Daddy, that's not true.
But I just wanted to wish you happy Father's Day. My father is no longer with us, and I'm glad you're still here for her and for yourself and for your family.
For all of us, and including Callaghan, right? Your namesake. Who knew? Who knew? In 87 years, your last namesake, well, maybe not your last, but the youngest of all of the namesakes in the tribe would have been my rescue dog. But she's a good girl. She's a good Callaghan. Good. Say happy Father's Day, great grandpa. Grandpa. That's right. All right, we love you. I hope you enjoy. Everybody put a lot of time and effort into this just to show you how special you are and how much we love you.
It's a feature-length film.
Oh my God, it is. We talk too much. Yeah, but I love you. Happy Father's Day. I know. That's what Mike always says. We all talk too much.
Happy Father's Day.
Okay. Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye.